Good evening, everybody. Let me start by welcoming everybody here tonight. Tonight, we're virtually gathered to discuss an important topic that has risen over the past few months. Almost every type of industry has somehow been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This night, I'm accompanied by three members of the cinematic workforce who will provide their experience and perspective on this issue. Melissa, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Paola Alguera. I'm the CEO of Cinepolis and CCM Cinemas. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you to discuss all the issues and problems that we had with this pandemic.
Thank you very much. Now, Brian, can you please introduce yourself?
Do I have to? Yeah, of course. I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, I'm Brian Diaz, and I'm glad to be here. I'm a famous actor. You can remember me from the series Pasión de Gavilanes. Yeah, at that time I was like a brown skin, but now I'm white. That's what I have. And well, anything else? I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Now, Andres, can you also introduce yourself, please?
Good evening. I'm Andres Gorgona, and I am a director. I represent the film directors in the Universal Studios. So I'm glad to be here to talk a little bit about this big problem and what we do to control it as possible.
Very well, thank you all. Now, the main objective of this meeting is to discuss the different ways that the pandemic has affected the movie industry. Today, we will cover the current issues that every one of you are experiencing. I'll start by asking a question and then providing a space for answers, and we will be covering 3 items total, if time allows it. Without further ado, let's begin with the first question. So many big events have been canceled due to social distancing rules. Since the movie industry relies a lot on... Sorry, no está pegado.
No.
Se me ofreció un toque, no.
Continuemos y esa vara se recorta.
Ok. O sea, pero ¿por dónde iba? Es que me distraje porque los vi a todos pegados.
Ya, pues terminé de representarme, entonces podemos... Ay, no, por Dios, es que esta hora se lo tiene que hacer de nuevo. Ay.
Empieza a decir como empezamos con la primera pregunta, puede ser de ahí.
Sí, es que había terminado de decir la parte de las preguntas.
Ok, todo bien. Okay. Okay. Many big events have been canceled due to...
Suave. Mejor grabamos de un solo tiro, todo de nuevo.
Es que sí, va a ser un dolor cortar eso y se va a
Es que-
notar muchísimo.
Es que es eso, después la edición termina siendo traicionera, porque luego editamos y no calza el tiempo, y ya no vamos a estar ahí para poder pegarle otro pedazo. Y habría que sacarse varas de la manga. ¿Sabe? Pero tranquilo, no es el fin del mundo si se te pega. O sea, todo va a estar bien, si va a salir el proyecto.
¿Te pegó?
Se le pegó. Mae, que quedó grabado, mae, porque qué tú harías cómo se pegó eso.
Yo diciendo que...
Mae, es que se le pega cuando hace poses, mae.
¿Cómo si estaba?
Es que me estaba cambiando de red, ya ahora sí se supone.
Mae, qué de puña.
Qué bien.
Y lo peor es el todo otro compa, no es el fin del mundo si se le pega.
Sí, si se le pega yo. Ah, cabrón, sí se le pegó. No era chiste.
Mae, pucha.
Toda la hablada motivacional ya no sirvió de nada. Nada, ya la cagamos. Listo, compis, me voy a ir a grabar una entrevista yo solo y voy a decir que lo hice solo. Bye. No se creen.
Ok, no, ya, en teoría ya no se me debería de pegar más.
Okay, let's start this shit again.
Dale. Va.
Intento 4302.
Porque ayer salió mejor, no entiendo.
Porque ayer
era
estábamos
Discord.
más relajados. Era Discord,
Era
patrocinador.
de Discord. Patrocinador oficial del canal.
Patrocinador
Joder,
oficial
daño,
de Brian
mierda.
Díaz. No estamos usando otro. Esto es Discord, por si acaso. Luego me cortan el patrocinio y ustedes no me van a pagar esa platita extra.
Ok, bueno, ustedes me dicen cuándo.
Bueno,
Dale.
dale chiquilla, muerde dedos.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. If there is no problem with the audio and everybody can hear me well, then we can start this meeting. Let me start by welcoming everybody here tonight. Today we're virtually gathered to discuss an important topic that has risen over the past couple of months. Almost every type of industry has somehow been affected by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. This night, I'm accompanied by three members of the cinematic workforce who will provide their experience and perspective on this issue. Let's begin introducing ourselves. Melissa, would you please like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Melissa Alguera. I'm the CEO of Cinepolis and CCM Cinemas. It's a pleasure being with all of you this afternoon to discuss all the issues and problems that we have with this pandemic.
Thank you. Now, Brian, can you please introduce yourself?
Do I have to? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm Brian Diaz, famous actor in the media. You can remember me for the series Pasión of Gavilanes. I was in there, and now we are, and I'm working on a movie in this moment. But yeah, I feel great to be here and talk about this complicated situation.
Very well. Now, Andres, can you also introduce yourself, please?
Good evening. I am Andres Urgona. I am a director and I represent the film directors in the Universal Studios. So I'm glad to be here to talk a little bit about this big problem and what we do to control it as possible.
Very well, thank you all. Now, the main objective of this meeting is to discuss the different ways that the pandemic has affected the movie industry. We will cover the current issues that each one of you are facing, and I'll start by asking a question and then providing a space for answers, covering 3 items total if time allows it. Without further ado, let's begin. So my first question is, since many big events have been canceled due to social distancing rules, and we know that the movie industry relies a lot on social gatherings for profit making and spreading fame, I would like to get your feedback on how this change has impacted you. If Andres, can you please start?
Yes, as you said, we are freezing all activity possible. The global pandemic that occurring this year has affected the film industry. Currently, the filming is on standby. We cannot risk our actors to being infected with this virus. Uh, So the new aspiring actors had remain on the list since all kind of crowding of people are provided. Many events were cancelled.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Melissa, can we please get your opinion?
Of course, and as a company, we are experiencing a difficult situation. We have a lack of movies, as the director says. Um, we don't have any movie to project. If we don't have any movie to project, we can make premieres, and is one of the biggest thing that give us money. So we are about to broke, and we don't see any solution for all this problem.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Brian, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, this is a sad fact because it's a fact. I was working in a movie with Quentin Tarantino because I'm a famous actor. And what's interesting? We was just to present in a premiere this movie, and one day comes my manager and said to me, "Bro, we can't project the movie." And I was like, "What? Why?" And he told me the cinemas is not working. The system of the cinema is not working. We can do it because we're gonna lose a lot of money if we do. So we're gonna wait. And I said, "Whoa." At the beginning, I was like, yeah, chill, nothing happens. But with the time, goes to the worst part because now is the worst part. Is the worst part. I'm not working in basically anything, and that's
Yes, I
hard.
understand it's a very hard time we're going through. Now, for the second item, I would like to address the economic downfall most countries are facing in pretty much every labor sector. How has having limited resources and budgets affected each and every one of you? Melissa, can you please begin?
Of course, uh, in our situation is getting worse and worse and worse for all of the cinemas are all up around the world. We were forced to close. We are losing millions in goods, rent, food. We we need to fire hundreds of people because we don't have money to pay them. It's a big impact in our economy, and as a company we need to find out a solution, but we don't see any light.
Andres, do you have anything to say about this?
Yes, as she said, the films that have been released before the pandemic are not recovering the investment due to the lack of customers. So a lot of money is being lost. Many of our employees had to be fired for the lack of budget. So uh, now we try to keep the last amount of activity possible. Another problem is that our actors are angry that the work schedules were distorted and that each corporation had to change its working times and methods to control the possible infections.
I understand. Thank you very much for your input. Now, for our third item, I would like to hand it over to Brian, who is going to lead the next point about fame. How has fame changed since the pandemic began?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, you know, all the persons can maybe think, you know, we are not looking right in the cinemas, so the people don't talk about me, so the fame goes down, you know. But this is, but this is interesting. I have more free time, so I can check my social networks like Facebook or Instagram, for example, and I interact more with my followers. So this is a fun thing, you know, because they don't have anything to do because the mostly of my friends are young or something like that. So I start to answer they, and they say to their friends, "Oh, Brian is answering us. Maybe we can go and see what's happening." So I get more followers, I get more likes, I get more anything. So in my case, probably in the mostly all the actors is the same case, or fame is going up, you know. But I really like me add to this conversation and give a message because that's an important thing because I'm a famous actor. And the message is simple. Sometimes information, we are actors, you know, we're not science. Probably there's going to be a lot of science, but we are not science. You can't believe all the things that the famous person says just because they are famous. So you have to know that information is the most important thing. It's the most important weapon also, you know. So you have to decide what I'm going to do. I want to hear someone who don't knows anything about the thing, and I got to, you know, I got to be scared because of this, or I'm going to hear the news and the person who knows about the thing, you know. So that's what I start to think. So be in calm. That's the most important thing. Don't believe all the things that you read because sometimes it can be a lie. And staying calm. Hear the authorities. And the most important thing is staying home because quarantine is the most important thing to fight this virus.
Mhm. Yes, I am very glad to hear that you are using your influence on people to have a good message and raise awareness. It's true that a lot of people can receive a lot of false information on social media, but I am glad that you're raising awareness with your influence. Now, does anybody else want to add anything on this?
I agree with Brian. We need to use correctly the tools like the social medias to show good behaves to our fans.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, if nobody wants to add anything else, that will be all for today's meeting. Now, I would just like to schedule our next meeting, and I would like to propose the date July 14th. Does that work for everybody?
Yes, whole activity is free. I have many free time, so I agree.
I need to check my agents with my assistant, so wait a minute.
Yeah, why not? I'm just an artist. I don't have anything to do. What I'm gonna lie. So yeah, I don't really like maybe here talking with you guys. So maybe we can see us the next time. You know, I'm on Instagram, Bright Diaz, bajo 13. You can follow me there. And thanks for the people who's watching. And anything to that.
Perfect. Then we'll see each other on July 14th. Now, thank you all for attending this meeting tonight, and have a good evening.
Bye,
Good evening.
guys.
Bye.